Welcome Jackie Leonard in and Keith Hansey in. Our guests from Northwoods Community Realty, first Friday of the month radio show. Jackie, good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to you, Mr. Keith.
Good morning, Greg.
Is that the chair normally you sit in when you're here? Good.
Yes, it is.
Sit in the
my
first
sports cue chair.
Your first chair, yes.
Yeah.
Good to have you both here.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Hey, we always take for granted everybody knows Keith and everybody knows Jackie, but we have new listeners that join us throughout the time. Let's talk a little bit about Northwoods Community Realty. Jackie, you've had that 10 plus years now, haven't you?
Yeah, it's, I think we were almost to 15.
Yeah,
15 already.
Because
Wow.
I've been there 9.
Yeah. Yeah, it's time's flying when we're having fun here.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I've been doing real estate here for over 23 years and went out on my own,
About 15
years ago.
Yeah.
So it was just something that I wanted to be able to do my own marketing. I was a little bit of a marketing was my passion in a previous life. So I used to do a lot of marketing, and I built my real estate business doing a lot of marketing, and I just wanted to go out on my own and make sure that I could spend my money the way I wanted to spend money instead of the way, when you are with a chain, like Century 21 Remax, you have to give them your money and then they spend it on marketing for you, which is great. If you are a new agent, it worked out great for me in the beginning, but we branched out because I wanted to spend more of my money locally.
Sure.
So,
and you've done that many different ways, and we'll talk about that at the end of the show with Star and the donations you've made. But talk about the staff you've had over 15 years. You've had a lot of good people that have worked for you over the years, haven't you? And some still hanging around.
Yeah, so
it's
I'm and when I pull in the office and our parking lot is full, I always feel very blessed that I have agents that are very committed to, doing this full time and helping the community. Keith's out there just about everywhere he can. I don't know that he could take on one more thing, and then he does.
And all those employees seem to have your vision, too, when I think about them, Jackie.
Yeah. So I just think that with the staff that we have, we now have 3 buyer's agents that work under me. So they help, I got busier and busier, and you can only take on so much. So they do a lot of the showings and writing offers for buyers. And, they're watching that market very closely and making sure that our buyers are not missing out on a property. Because they show so much, they can, if you get a call on a particular listing, they've probably already showed it, and they can give that insight if they think it will work for you. So I think it's great. Dion and Opie and Keith, they've been with me for many years.
Yeah,
and it's
9.
been great. Yeah.
I think
9 for Keith?
I think this spring is 9.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you start with Jackie?
Yes.
Yeah, so she taught you the ropes.
Yeah, I was in the construction fields before
I remember
that.
Yeah.
And then switched to real estate. Yeah, Jackie showed me everything, and it's hard to believe it's been 9 years. It just time just flies. Like the older we get, it flies. But we're also very busy,
Right.
that makes time fly even faster.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Jackie, and she even has community in the name, so everybody there is really involved in the community doing stuff, and various, charities, sports things, ski shows.
Yeah, always giving back.
School, the bank boards. I mean, just there's a lot with the chamber even.
We, and when I first started real estate, I went to a bunch of classes, and one of the first thing they told you as a new real estate, and I just told, Gabby is new in my office, and she asked me, how can I get my name out there? I'm like, I was taught, and I took this to heart, is the more you can volunteer in your community on different communities and volunteer even just for an event, that gets your name out. And then you're sitting there networking with all these other volunteers, people. And then eventually they get to know you enough, and they know you're a real estate agent, and they give your name out. And it's all about networking within your community. It does 2 things. It grows your business, plus it's really helping out your community, and you feel like a part of it, and you get to know people. She's not from here. And I was kind of from here. My husband graduated from Tomahawk, but I, originally from Illinois, so I say I'm a transplant, but I was here in 1976 is when I was transplanted. So I've been here a very long time, but it's still like I'm not related, so there's that whole trying to break into a community when you're not from here. I always said that Tomahawk was more of a melting pot, though. I think we have so many people that are originally not from here that eventually it just becomes, we're almost going to outnumber you.
Yeah.
So
one thing about Tomahawk, doesn't matter how many years you've been here, people are very courteous, very happy to have you here, and I know they're very pleased to have Northwoods Community Realty here, and what you guys do for the community and Star. Before we talk about some of that stuff, what about winter? How's the winter gone in the real estate business, Jackie? Has it been a typical winter here, or maybe a little better because of all the snow and cold, or did that make it a little worse?
Yeah, so I'm a big snowmobiler, so I enjoyed winter this year. I'm so happy to have gotten out on my sled. That's always, it's our slow time, so that's like the only sport the only thing I get to do.
Sure.
Because we're a little slower in the winter time. But it's been a pretty active winter. But overall, I look back in the years and we're always, people are like, oh, you don't have anything to do in the winter. I'm like, no, there's always something going on. And, a lot of it is death, divorce, and relocation. Those things are going to happen regardless of the time of year. So we always have that going on. Plus, a lot of people just looking forward to spring, calling us. We're getting those market analysis done. I had probably 4 calls last Friday. The sun comes out, things start melting, and people start getting excited down south, and they don't realize that we still have, 4 feet of snow on the, and I'm going to have snowbanks probably in the parking lot till June.
Sure.
So, we're getting those ready to go, and it's a great time of year to look at that, look at your pricing. Most of our stuff that I'm talking to people, I'm like, we're going to get everything done now, and then we don't know when the weather's going to actually break, like the last couple of days. But then we could go back into cold. We could get more snow. So we're going to be ready to go, like the week, things start opening up, lakes and stuff. And some of the driveways, they haven't been plowed, so you gotta have access.
Sure.
So once that happens, we're going to push go and have it ready to go on the market, because it really is the early bird gets the worm. You definitely want to be the first on the market. You don't want to be in a list of 100 listings that go on in mid-May.
Right.
It's just early. People are chomping at the bit for the new stuff to come out on the lakes and even, houses. Because a lot of people, it was a cold winter. Nobody wants to move when it's 30 below.
Right.
So I think it'll just be a lot of listings, whether it be in town, just not recreational buyers, but also, other homes.
Sure.
People have just been waiting to put it on.
Keith, what have you seen over the winter? I know you've been busy with showings a time or two and selling some property.
Listings are starting. I think I got 6 new ones this week.
Okay.
So it
is starting.
This is the springtime. Yeah, I mean, it is. Because a lot of properties, if they weren't there all winter, they're not plowed, they're not ready. They may even have the heat off and it winterized. Well, you really, when you go to show it, you want to have it up and running. It makes it just way better. So we'll start to see that once the weather totally breaks and places are ready to go. We'll see more and more come on. It's a good time to look at land, though, because you can walk around in the snow. But once that melts and it gets wet, then it's a little bit more difficult. It's been busy. I was gone. I went to Europe. My son was playing volleyball over there in January, which, again, was a good time because it is a little bit slower for us. So I took a little time off there.
Get any listings there while you were there?
I didn't.
No? Okay.
I did look at real estate when I was over there.
Maybe Jackie can have an office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
You have to go there more often.
Never know.
Actually was surprising price-wise. I was kind of shocked that it wasn't as... I thought it would be a little more expensive in Italy, but it was right in line with what we have here.
Yeah.
I was pretty surprised by that. Yeah.
Hey, what is the procedure, Jackie, with listings? Let's say somebody would like to, listening to us this morning, talking about wanting to list their home. Just call your office and you will assign a realtor, or do they choose which realtor they would like, or what's the best way for somebody to do it that maybe hasn't sold a house in 30 years?
Yeah, so a lot of time what happens is if people are just calling our office in general, we have floor time. So depending on the agent that's on floor at the time, that's the agent you're going to get unless you have a specific one you want to choose. And when you call our office, you do get that choice. Like if you've worked or spoke with an agent in our office before, please hit whatever, and then you'll be connected directly to their cell phone. Or if you haven't worked with anybody, you just go to the general office, and then the agent on duty will help you. One thing if people have not, I think a large majority of our people that are selling are probably in their 60s, 70s. They're just looking into the next chapter. I have so many clients right now that are just downsizing. They're going into apartments. They just don't want to deal with the maintenance anymore, or they're moving to children. They're a little my age, and then now they have grandchildren. I just had a client relocate back to where their kids are and their grandkids are because they just want to be closer to them. And I just want those people to know it just seems very overwhelming to them because they're savers.
Right.
They save money and they save stuff, right? So it just feels so overwhelming to them that they have all this stuff. Like, how am I going to move all this stuff? Or what am I going to do with all this? We just have a lot of sources that we can help them out with that process. We can talk through it. It's just make it easier for them to move on to the next chapter without feeling overwhelming. Like, what am I going to do with all this stuff? There's different resources we can give them to help out on that. I think that blocks them for sometimes years because they just can't get over that letting go, right? They were born in a generation where you repurposed everything and you saved it, and somebody someday can use that. So
at least you think they can use that.
Yeah, yeah. If you could only find it.
Right.
But when it's time to move, that can be overwhelming.
It can.
You go into a detached garage or a basement, and you're like, whoa, there's 35 years worth of stuff that we've saved.
Sure.
Which was probably good 35 years ago. Or you see a lot of kids stuff, like if they had kids that moved in various places, like we have, you end up with some of their furniture. Yeah. And then that stays there, and then you're like, well, what do we do with this? So we do have good resources to help get rid of that and kind of work through that block of listing.
Yeah.
Well, that really has to help people because, especially if you're talking about downsizing, you're going from a 3 or 4 bedroom home, all the furniture, all the different things you have to, apartment or a smaller size home, or if you're moving to another city, having to haul all that stuff with you. Yeah. So that's awesome that you have those types of things. Thank you for letting people know. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had to deal with it so much that, we got a process now to help those people out.
Good. Okay, we've called. We've got the realtor in mind that we want to work with. What are some of the steps that are going to go on then? Talk about pricing, talk about showing, talking about how it shows the best. Can you lay that out for a couple of minutes for us, Jackie?
Sure. Yeah, so basically the first thing I like to do is meet with them at the home. I get to see the home. It doesn't have to be clean. I always tell people, don't worry. I wouldn't want you coming into my house today.
Right.
I don't expect it to be show ready. It's just me. But I can get an idea of what you have so that I can pull the comparables, and then we can talk about price, and then we can see if it's even something you're willing to do. Some people, just have no idea what the value of their home is. Most of the time it's double right now of what they think it was worth, especially if you've been in your home a long time. They have no idea that it's literally worth double now what you thought it was. And then you give them those numbers and you're like, if you were to get in this price point, is it something you would, move on, and where are you going? And so we kind of go through those steps and try to make them feel comfortable. If you did sell your home, what is your next plan? How long do you think it would, take to get that plan together? And, if it's something that you would want to list, we try to come up with a time frame. Are there things that need to be done? Some maintenance, decluttering, again, helping with that. And then we try to come up with a plan. And if it's something that they're like, oh, I'm not quite ready to do anything now, but it's good to know my value. I'm dealing with a client right now, and unfortunately he passed away, but he did this process with me 5 years ago, and then his family had my market analysis there and reached out, sometimes it's just nice for that family to have that in a file, and at least they can talk to somebody that is familiar with the market. We're local, we sell local stuff.
Sure.
I can't express that enough. We get a lot of calls from agents from not in the area, and of course, because this is where they live in Madison, Milwaukee, right? So all of a sudden they end up with a Madison, Milwaukee agent and don't know the market. So it's super important to have, even if you're just looking for estate planning, to have an idea what your investment's worth. It's huge.
Yeah, because if you don't do it every day, you have no clue, and you don't even give it a thought.
Right.
Sure. Do you talk then, Keith, a little bit about the expenses that they are going to incur after sales? I mean, I think that is somewhat of a situation with some people. They don't have a clue of what is all engulfed with expenses that are involved in selling.
So then we'll even do simulated closing cost sheet to show them, hey, this is what a title company would cost. This is what commission would cost. These are the possible other costs that could come up, but this would be it. It's not exact to the dollar, but it gives you a good idea. Sure. So if you know, okay, is it what percentage of this price am I going to be taking home after, let's say they have a mortgage, you pay that off. It gives them a good idea of, okay, we have this amount of money that we can either look for another place or put that in a fund or whatever, but at least they know how much they're going to have roughly when they close. So there's no surprises when you get to the closing table and they're signing all the paperwork and like, whoa, what is this? What is this? Not familiar with this. But the more you can tell people up front, the easier it makes that whole process.
Sure. And everybody's much more comfortable.
Yes, definitely. Yep.
Keith and Jackie from Northwoods Community Realty. I'm not sure where the time went. It's 5 minutes before the hour already.
We just got here.
I know. We have to do an hour and a half show like you guys do.
Yeah.
Some of the other things you wanted to touch on today, Jackie. We want to leave a couple minutes to just talk about Star. I know rates fluctuate. People probably should really worry a whole lot about rates. I mean, they're going to change. They're going to go up. They're going to go down over a course of a 20 or 30-year loan. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, with the rates going down, I think it's really going to help these first-time home buyers. The average first-time home buyer is now 40 years old, which seems absolutely ridiculous to me. But that is the reality that we live in with the tight market. I feel like we're going to have way more listings this year, especially if what's early happening in the calls we're getting. I think we're going to have way more listings. You can actually have financing and inspections now. So it is a really good time for buyers to jump back in the market. Sellers are still getting record high prices. But, I'm going to say I believe we've capped out on that.
Okay.
And buyers are finally, they got to a point and they're like, nope, not going to do it. So you're going to see a lot of price reductions. Our days on market here are over 100 in the Northwoods, and that is almost double in other places.
Sure.
We're double the days on market in other parts of the state because you got to add in the second home people. And so those lake homes, recreational properties have just gotten, I think, a little too high, and buyers are pulling back and they're like, okay, not going to pay it. So I think those prices will have to start coming back down, and as they should, because, for a while there, it started to get crazy.
So we want to remind people they can get a hold of you and Keith and the rest of the staff at Northwoods Community Realty. The office number is 453-2673. Jackie, your direct number?
Yeah, 715-612-2673.
And Mr. Keith?
715-966-1032.
Good. And the office, of course, your beautiful office right along North 4th Street here in Tomahawk, easy to find. Before we wrap up, let's talk a little bit about Star. I know, Jackie, you're still the president of the Star Foundation. You're not?
I'm not. Kathy
my God, I left and you got off? Or you? Kathy's good.
She retired.
Kathy's retired and taking the reins.
Yeah,
good.
That's awesome. Yeah, so the burger contest is going to be a little earlier this year, and we'll get on the radio and talk about that pretty soon. But people watch out for a lot of change in that. We're back to 2 cards, $25 a piece if you're a couple, or if you're single, then you don't have to worry about the buy one get one.
Sure.
So some exciting stuff coming up there, and
you just presented a check with Nancy Swan, one of the jumpers in
Yeah.
the frigid water of.
She did awesome
yeah,
this
she
year.
did
Wow,
great,
she
yeah.
just beat everybody up at everywhere I went. She was collecting pledges. So
She did a great job.
we appreciate that, and so we gave back to them. They had a grant for doing the grooming, and yeah,
Wow,
it's
that
great.
was awesome. And that was a nice sizable donation that you guys gave back.
$2,000. Yeah, and
Very
I'm like,
nice.
groom those trails.
And, of course, you'll have the Star Splash again next year. And that seems to be growing, too, in popularity, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Getting a lot
so
of people involved.
yeah, every year we get more and more jumpers, which is exciting. And for a while there, we thought maybe it had run its course, and now, thanks to a lot of sponsorships and a couple teams stepping up, the hockey team, and some other people that put teams together. It's been great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, good. They can get a hold of Kathy or you for more information about the Star
or
Foundation.
listen to the
and go
Q.
online.
We'll be
We're happy to
running
help.
those ads
Yep.
soon, thanks to you.
Good. Our pleasure. All right, Jackie, thank you for your time. Keith, always good to see you guys at Northwoods Community Realty. If you're thinking of buying or selling, now's a good time to talking to one of the professionals over at your office.
Yep. We should have tons of listings by the time the home show comes on.
Good. Yeah, we'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Only
that's-
about 5 weeks away.
That's
Yeah.
coming up soon.
Yeah. All right, you guys, thank you very much, and enjoy the weekend.
Yes,
Thanks.
thanks Greg.
Good, Jackie. Thank you, and Keith. Northwoods Community Realty, our first Friday of the month radio show here on WJJQ in Tomahawk.